Hey everyone, before we dive in, if you're enjoying these real-life stories about trust, heartbreak, and second chances, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Most folks assume betrayal crashes in like a storm. Doesn't. It usually slips in without a sound, takes a seat right in front of you, and hands you the reality you've been dodging. My name's Ethan. I'm 38, I handle supply chain stuff for work, I live just outside Leeds. And up until last winter, I figured my marriage was solidly average in the best possible sense. Not flawless, not thrilling, but reliable. I used to think reliable equaled safe. I met my wife Sophia back when we were in our 20s. She had this gentle self-assurance. The type that never begged for notice but always got it anyway. We put together our life step by step. Daily habits we both followed, splitting the expenses, weekend trips to the supermarket, debates over what to stream next. Nothing over the top. And perhaps that's exactly why I overlooked the warning signs. Or maybe I noticed them but picked ease over facing facts. The initial split wasn't some gossip about an affair. It was growing apart. Talks becoming just practical, physical contact turning rare and unplanned. She smiled less at things I said and more at whatever was on her screen. When I'd ask about her day, I'd get quick overviews instead of real details. I convinced myself this was just marriage settling down. People always say the spark dims eventually. You adapt. You push through. You avoid the tough questions. Then one ordinary Tuesday night, a woman named Mia showed up at my door. She introduced herself carefully, like she was preparing for a blow. She explained she was married to a guy named Ryan. She said Ryan and Sophia were colleagues. She added that she wouldn't have come if she wasn't absolutely sure. Her hands trembled but her tone stayed even. That calm unnerved me more than any yelling could have. She informed me that my wife was having an affair with her husband. I recall just nodding, as if she'd mentioned it might rain later. My body shut down before my brain processed it. She shared screenshots of texts, hotel bills, pictures snapped from afar that seemed both harsh and kind in the same moment. There wasn't any space left for pretending otherwise. The facts didn't debate, they just were. If this is already hitting hard, go ahead and tap like so more people who need it can find it. Keeping quiet is how these situations keep going. Mia didn't break down. She seemed drained, like she'd already worked through her own sorrow. She said she wasn't there to measure who hurt more or to ask for anything. She simply felt I had a right to know. Then she caught me off guard by saying sorry, as though being straightforward required an apology. After she left, I sat by myself for hours. I didn't challenge Sophia. I didn't reach out to friends or family. I just went over everyday memories and saw them fall apart. Every late work night, every scrapped plan, every time I pushed down suspicion to avoid conflict. The following day, Sophia gave me a quick kiss on the cheek and asked what I felt like eating that night. That's when something in me solidified. Not rage, recognition. If you were me, would you have spoken up right away? Or held off until you were completely sure? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I held off. About a week later, Mia messaged me. Just one sentence. I'm moving forward with divorce. I wasn't sure why she shared that, but it eased something in me. We grabbed coffee, not scheming, just two people who'd been hit by the same thing. We lined up the dates calmly. The matches were precise, deliberate, undeniable. She asked how I was managing. I was honest. I felt more ashamed than devastated, like I flunked something obvious to everyone else. She nodded and shared a thought that stuck with me. Staying faithful doesn't make you naive. Putting your faith in the wrong person does. If that hits home, comment clarity down below. Not for me, but as a note to yourself. What caught me off guard was the simple relief of being gotten without having to spell everything out. With Sophia, I'd always had to defend my emotions. With Mia, no translation required. We weren't crossing into romance. We were just unwinding. Finally free to talk straight. I faced Sophia that weekend. No big scene. I just presented the evidence. She didn't push back. She pointed to feeling alone, the monotony, my emotional distance. I let her talk because listening had always been my strong suit. When she wrapped up, I said I was finished. Those words came out easier than I'd imagined. Divorce involves forms and sadness blended together. Certain days felt liberating. Others left me empty. Mia and I kept in light contact now and then. Brief texts, nothing promised, no pressure. And that careful approach grew real trust quicker than intensity ever could. Months went by. The divorce wrapped up without fanfare, like a drawn-out fight that finally ran out of steam. Sophia found someone new fast. I didn't dig for details. I quit chasing explanations once I realized truth doesn't always wrap things up neatly. It just points the way forward. My routine simplified. Morning workouts, job, evenings that felt open but authentic. Being alone weighs less when it's not tangled with deception. Mia and I continued connecting cautiously. We never stepped over boundaries while our marriages were still official. There was a mutual honor there, forged from what we'd both endured. We'd get together sometimes for strolls, occasional meals, always public spots, talks that dug deeper than small talk but never veered into dreaming big. One evening after a stretch of no contact, she shared something I didn't know I'd been waiting for. You didn't ignore the red flags because you were blind. You ignored them because you were all in. No one had put it like that before. It turned years of beating myself up into something solid. Devotion, even misguided, is still a virtue. That same night, she asked me on a proper date. Not lightly, not on a whim, with pause, fully aware of how much timing mattered. She said she didn't want to swap old hurt for a rebound. She wanted to create something on purpose or nothing at all. I didn't reply immediately, not from doubt, but out of respect for our shared history. At this stage, if you feel stories of genuine recovery should be shared more, pass this video along to anyone who's convinced trust can't come back. The right message can land exactly when it's needed. I told her yes a week later. We took it slow and intentional. Our first date wasn't movie perfect. No fireworks, no tearful speeches, just two people chuckling tentatively like joy required approval. What stood out wasn't chemistry. It was security. No second-guessing. What she said, she meant. When I questioned, she responded straight. Being with Mia didn't wipe away what Sophia did. Put it in perspective. I quit viewing those years as lost and started seeing them as preparation. I learned how to truly hear someone, how to be present, what ignoring someone feels like, and I vowed never to repeat it. We both had flashes of anxiety, old wounds triggered by a late reply that knotted my stomach. She felt them too. But we called them out instead of using them as weapons. If something seemed wrong, we voiced it. No mind games, no silent treatment. That openness felt groundbreaking. Do you think trust has to be rebuilt gradually, even after deep hurt like this? Or does a clean start mean moving quickly? Let me know your take in the comments. Every viewpoint counts. What truly shifted everything wasn't just connecting with someone new. It was seeing myself clearer. I'd spent years validating my value by sticking it out, by waiting, by not leaving. Choosing to walk away showed me self-worth doesn't shout. It's quiet and firm. Mia once said she respected how I never went for payback, never blasted Sophia online or fell apart. I told her it wasn't nobility, it was pure fatigue. When you're worn out enough, you quit fighting to prove a point and focus on mending. That's when true insight arrives. A year on, Mia and I moved in together. No big reveal, no forced cheer, just a home that felt rightfully ours. Some evenings we revisit the past. Most we chat about everyday nothing. And that's how I know it's genuine. If you've ever pieced your world back together after deception, comment rebuild below. Not to brag, but to remember that beginning again isn't from scratch. In reflection, I don't credit Sophia for the affair. Suffering doesn't earn thanks. But I do recognize that the reality she pushed into my path spared me years of bottled-up bitterness. And I see Mia not as a rescuer, but as evidence that real bonds can form after loss, when both choose not to fall into old habits. Before you click away, like if any part spoke to you, comment one takeaway this story sparked for you, and subscribe for more honest tales on trust, heartbreak, and recovery. These discussions count, and you're never alone in them. Sometimes the messenger of the hardest truth ends up being the catalyst for your life finally turning toward something better.